flow stress and true strain portion. Flow stress is nothing but the true stress. Flow stress is nothing but the true stress. So let us start with the first metal forming process that we are going to study. First metal forming process that I am going to teach you as of now is rolling. It is the rolling operation. So what happens in rolling? I have shown you many small diagrams. So in rolling we'll have two rollers. Through these two rollers, a component will be passed. Through these two rollers, a component is passed and its thickness is reduced. Let's say this was the initial thickness. I am taking that as H0 and H1 is the final thickness. Okay. These two rollers are rotating. So these rollers are inside some mills. Those mills are called as rolling mills. Okay. So I come from a steel city. Steel city means STEEL steel, not STEAL steel. चोरी का शहर नहीं है. Steel city. So steel city, there are a lot of industries related to the steel. Okay. So childhood, I had a friend. He was very, very rich. So I asked him, like, what does your father do? That time, like class 5, 6, he used to come in Mercedes or BMW. I don't remember. One luxury car he used to come in. So I asked him, what does your father do? That time he told me, my father owns rolling mills. Okay. I didn't understand what is rolling mills. I simply thought just for rolling clothes they are getting so much money. So there I was wrong. Rolling mills are heavy industries. Their function is to reduce the thickness of the component. Okay. So what happens is the steel plant will sell the components in some standard shapes. Then these rolling mills will buy those components and they will make sheet metal out of those initial work pieces. Okay, by passing the component through multiple rollers. So this is how a rolling mill operates. So here you can see whatever deformation is needed, that deformation is taking place between these two lines. Whatever deformation is needed, that deformation is taking place between these two blue lines, right? Therefore, this is called as the deformation zone. Here we had our initial thickness. The component passes through two rotating rollers and we get a final thickness. Let's say the initial velocity of the component is V0. Let's say V0 is the initial velocity of the component. V1 is the final velocity of the component. Okay. The rollers are rotating with the velocity V. That is, the surface velocity of the rollers is V. Okay. So please copy this diagram. Don't make the arrow here, make the arrow here, because here I am going to make few diagrams for the derivation. Okay. Please copy this diagram. Then Rahul is asking, sir, is that the same thing as gauge length? No, Rahul. Which length are you talking about? V is the tangential velocity. Sort of V is the surface velocity of the rollers. By doing pi dn, d is the diameter of the roller. By pi dn you will get a surface velocity of the rollers. Right? That is V. You can say that is the tangential velocity. Right? At this point, like this, that is the tangential velocity. Rahul is asking, is the deformation zone same as the gauge length? No, nothing like that. Okay, I don't know what is the gauge length. I have not heard the name gauge length in case of metal forming. Okay, omega will be the angular velocity. Now, the top roller will have same velocity as the bottom roller. The top roller will have same velocity as the bottom roller. Why? Because if there is some difference in the velocity, bending of the material will take place. The material will bend along high velocity rollers. Therefore, the velocity of top roller is equal to velocity of bottom roller. Velocity of top roller is equal to velocity of bottom roller. So what is velocity? What is velocity? Velocity is pi dn top is equal to pi dn bottom. So pi get cancelled. What we are left with is dn top is equal to dn bottom. Now, even the diameters of the top roller and bottom roller will be equal. The diameters of top roller and bottom rollers will be equal to avoid any unbalanced forces. D top is equal to D bottom. Here D is diameter of the rollers. Okay. To avoid unbalanced forces, D top is equal to D bottom to avoid unbalanced forces. Therefore, N top is equal to N bottom. That is, the RPM of the top roller will be equal to RPM of the bottom roller. RPM of the top roller will be equal to RPM of the bottom roller. Okay. Here please write down D top is the diameter of top roller, D bottom is the diameter of the bottom roller. That is, D is the diameter of the rollers, N is the RPM of the rollers. D is diameter of the rollers, N is RPM of the rollers. If the two rollers rotate in same direction, the metal will not go inside. Yeah, that's why they are rotating in opposite direction. See, this one is clockwise, this one is counterclockwise. Copied? Let H0, H1 equal to thickness before and after rolling. Let H0, H1 be equal to the thickness before and after rolling. Let V0, V1 be equal to velocity of component. This is thickness of component, this is velocity of component before and after rolling. Delta H is equal to reduction in thickness. Delta H is equal to reduction in thickness. It is equal to H0 minus H1. Delta H is reduction in thickness. It is equal to H0 minus H1. Let B0, B1 be the width of the component. Width of the component is inside the board. Okay, width of the component is inside the board. It will be like this. Okay, width of the component before and after rolling. Let B0, B1 be the width of component. Then I'm again writing on the top. Please copy from the top. Let L0, L1 be the length of the component. Let L0, L1 be the length of component before and after rolling. Before and after rolling. Okay. Let's make an angle of the deformation zone with respect to center of the rollers. Okay. The deformation zone is starting here. Deformation zone is ending here. Okay. So this is called as the angle of bite. This is called as alpha. This is represented by alpha and called as the angle of bite. Alpha is the angle of bite by center of the rollers over the deformation zone. Over the deformation zone. It is the angle alpha is the angle of bite, also called as the bite angle. It is the angle subtended by center of the rollers over the deformation zone. Okay. V is surface velocity of rollers. It is equal to pi dn. V is equal to surface velocity of rollers. It is equal to pi dn. Okay. Now, what are the assumptions in the process? For our analysis, we are taking assumptions. See, I have told the velocity as pi dn. Vishesh is asking, will it be pi dn by 60? Vishesh, it will depend upon the unit. It will depend upon the unit. Basically it will be pi dn. You have to divide by 60 or not, it will depend upon unit, what is the unit in which you are taking the velocity. Okay. Again I am repeating, please take lot of care of the units in the exam. Okay. Mostly in manufacturing what happens is lot of times we take the velocity in meter per minute. This happens a lot in case of manufacturing. Okay. So assumptions are, first one is the volume remains constant. And the second one is the width remains constant. Okay. Second one is width remains constant. Now, let's apply the first one. The volume remains constant. What is the initial volume? The initial volume will be, based on first assumption, we can write the initial volume will be H0 into B0 into L0. It is equal to H1 into B1 into L1. According to second assumption, the width remains constant. So B0 and B1 will get cancelled. We will be left with H0 L0 is equal to H1 L1. H0 L0 is equal to H1 L1. Okay. H0 upon H1, this fraction is greater than 1 or less than 1? This fraction is greater than 1 or less than 1? Yes, it is greater than 1 because it is the fraction of initial thickness upon final thickness. You can see the initial thickness is larger than the final thickness. So it is greater than 1. Therefore, we can say H0 upon H1 is equal to L1 upon L0. And this one will be greater than 1. This entire thing will be greater than 1. Okay. This entire thing will be greater than 1. That is, the final length will be greater than the initial length. We are reducing the thickness, increasing the length. Next, let's write this expression from the flow rate point of view. See, the flow rate of the material will be equal. Right? The rate at which the material is going in, at the same rate, the material will be coming out. Whatever volume is going in per second, same volume will be coming out per second, right? Material flow rate will remain constant. What is the initial material flow rate? How do you write the flow rate? Flow rate is area into velocity. Volume flow rate is area into velocity. What is the area? This is the area. H1 into B1. H1 into B1 into V1. H1 into B1 into V1 is the final flow rate, right? Similarly, initial flow rate will be H0 B0 V0 equals to H1 B1 V1, right? In our assumption, for our analysis, we have taken the assumptions that B0 is equal to B1. Okay, it is not necessary that B0 will be equal to B1. It can be different. But for our assumptions, we have taken B0 is equal to B1. So this gets cancelled. So again we'll get H0 upon H1 is equal to V1 upon V0, which is greater than 1. Hence you can say that the final velocity of the component will be greater than initial velocity of the component. Final velocity of the component will be greater than initial velocity of the component. Right? Which implies V1 is greater than V0. The final velocity of the component is greater than initial velocity of the component. Now, next point you have to understand is we are not giving any external push or pull to the component. The component is simply getting pulled inside the rollers because of the friction. So, you can say no external push or pull is given. It is simply getting pulled, friction between the rollers. Okay. Now, for the component to get pulled in, what should be the relation? What should be the relation between v and v naught? Here, v is the surface velocity of the rollers. V is the surface velocity of the rollers. Okay. What should be the relation between v and v naught so that the component gets pulled in? Option 1 is greater than. Option 2 is less than. Option 1 or option 2? Guys, obviously the v will have to be greater than v naught. V will have to be greater than v naught, then only it will be able to pull the component. Then only it will be able to pull the component. Okay. For getting pulled, the v has to be greater than v naught. Okay. Let's say this person is running towards this person with velocity v naught. With velocity v naught. So this person wants to pull him. This person wants to pull him. So he'll have to pull him with the velocity greater than v naught, right? Then only he will be able to pull. If he's not pulling with the velocity greater than v naught, he will not be able to pull him. Right? He will have to pull with higher velocity. So v will have to be greater than v naught. So for getting pulled, v has to be greater than v naught. So about velocities, two things we have understood. v1 is greater than v naught. V is greater than v naught. Now it is coming with velocity v naught. This is having velocity v. This is having velocity v. Okay. Both the velocities are directed in same direction. Both the velocities are directed in same direction. Okay. So what will happen to the final velocity? Final velocity will be greater than v naught and v, right? Because we are applying two velocities along same direction. Two velocities along same direction, so their combined effect will be even higher velocity. So v1 will be greater than v. v1 will be highest. It will be greater than v, and v will be greater than v naught. So this is the relation between all the three velocities. Okay. The component is entering with the velocity v naught. Then the rollers are giving it a push with the velocity v. So overall the final velocity will be higher than v and v naught. Okay, so v1 is greater than v is greater than v naught. So this is the relation between velocities. Now let's draw a triangle here. This point I am taking as A. This point I am taking as A. This point I am taking as C. The point where this blue line is touching the component I am taking as A. The point where this blue line is touching the component is called as C. And I am drawing a straight line from A. I am drawing a straight line from A. This I am calling as B. This I am calling as B. And the center of the roller I am taking as O. Center of the roller I am taking as O. Now, in triangle OAB, what will be the cos of alpha? What is cos of alpha? In triangle OAB, what is cos of alpha? Obviously, it will be OB upon OA. It will be OB upon OA. OA is what? OA is what? Is it the radius of the rollers? OA, is it the radius of the roller? Similarly, OC is also the radius of the roller. OC is also the radius of the roller. This entire length is radius of the roller. Now, here we had written something called as delta H. Delta H was what? H naught minus H1. Delta H was H naught minus H1. Right? So, this portion is how much? The portion BC is equal to how much? H naught minus H1 by 2. BC is H naught minus H1 by 2. Because the total deformation is taking place at two places. Here H naught minus H1 by 2 will be taking place. Here also H naught minus H1 by 2 will be taking place. Right? Here also we will have H naught minus H1 by 2. So total combined deformation will be H0 minus H1. Total combined deformation will be H0 minus H1. So simply I can write OBS OB is equal to OC minus BC upon OA. OC is equal to radius, BC is equal to delta H by 2. BC is equal to delta H by 2. OA is again equal to the radius. So cos alpha is equal to R minus delta H by 2. So this is the first important expression in the chapter. Many times they have asked, what is the value of alpha? What is the value of alpha? So this is the expression you have to use, R minus delta H by 2 upon R. R minus delta H by 2 upon R. Okay, please copy this. Okay guys, on the secondary screen you can see some questions. Please tell me the answer for these questions. This GATE 1995 question. A test specimen is stressed slightly beyond the yield point and then it is unloaded. Its yield strength decreases, increases, remains same, becomes equal to UTS. What is the answer? Its yield strength increases because of the cold working, because of the strain hardening. Its yield strength increases because of the strain hardening. GATE 2003, cold working of steel is defined as, option A is at its recrystallization temperature, B is above recrystallization temperature, C is below recrystallization temperature. Yes, option C is the right answer. Okay, option C is the right answer. Hot rolling of mild steel is carried out at recrystallization temperature. Yes, option D, that is above recrystallization temperature, is the right answer. Above recrystallization temperature is the right answer. Which of the following is the process to refine the grains of metal after it has been distorted by hammering or cold working? A is annealing, B is softening, C is decrystallizing, D is normalizing. Guys, C is the right answer. A, annealing is okay. A, annealing is okay, but it is not the correct answer. Most appropriate answer is recrystallizing. Why? Because annealing as a broad term is having different meaning. If you just say annealing, it is having different meaning. There are total 4 types of annealing. There are total 4 or 5 types of annealing. One is called as full annealing, then we have recrystallization annealing, then we have stress relief annealing, then we have spheroidizing annealing. Okay, so in total there are 4 or 5 annealing process. If they are just saying annealing, it means they are talking about full annealing. Okay, since in the question they have mentioned both annealing and recrystallization, recrystallization is the most appropriate answer. If recrystallization was not there in the option, then annealing would have been the answer. Okay, understood, Visesh? So, 2004 IES, in comparison to hot working and cold working, higher forces are required, no heating is required, less ductility is required, better surface finish is obtained. Option B is saying higher forces, no heating and better surface finish. Yes, option B is the right answer. Option B is the right answer. ISRO 2009, in metal forming process, the stresses encountered are greater than the yield strength but less than the ultimate, less than yield, greater than ultimate, less than elastic. Option A is the right answer, right guys? Option A is the right answer. In rolling process, the state of stress of a metal undergoing deformation is, what could be the state of the stress? Yes guys, option C is the right answer. See Rahul, first of all, the material is getting compressed between the rollers. Hence one will be compression. And because of the different velocities, see the surface velocity of roller is V, the entry velocity of the component is V0. They are having different velocities, therefore some shear will also be acting, right? Hence the answer is compression and shear. Compression and shear, option C is the right answer, right? Consider the following characteristics of rolling process. Which of these characteristics are associated with hot rolling? Okay. First is shows work hardening. Second is surface finish is not good. Third is heavy reduction in areas can be obtained. Which one are the right answers? Yes, Rahul, option C is the right answer. Surface finish will not be good because it is hot working. Surface finish will not be good because it is hot working. And since it is hot working, the strength will be less. So you can obtain more reductions. So heavy reduction in area can be obtained. Hence option 3. That is the statement 3 is also the right option. Okay. Okay. Try this question. The thickness of a metallic sheet is reduced from initial value of 16 mm to a final value of 10 mm in one single pass rolling. With a pair of cylindrical rollers, each of diameter 400 mm. Why greater area reduction in hot rolling is compared to hot rolling, compared to cold working, always in hot working you will get higher reductions because the ductility is more, the strength is less, the hardness is less. Option D is the right answer, Rahul. Very good. So they are asking what is alpha. Alpha is equal to what? So we know that cos alpha is equal to R minus delta H by 2 upon R. So they have mentioned the diameter of the rollers is 400 mm. So the radius is 200 minus delta H by 2. Delta H is 16 minus 10. 16 minus 10. This entire thing divided by 2 upon 200. So 200 minus 3 upon 200. So it is 197 by 200. So cos inverse of alpha will be 9.936. Cos inverse of alpha will be 9.936. Why are others not giving the answer? You got the answer right? Cos inverse of 197 upon 200. So it is 9.936. Try this question. Get to the 12th question. Vishal is saying option C. I think C is the right answer. Exact answer even I'll have to calculate. So in a single pass rolling using 4 10 mm diameter steel rollers. So radius becomes 205 minus delta H by 2. A strip of width 140 mm and thickness 8 mm undergoes 10% reduction in thickness. Undergoes 10 mm thickness in 10 mm reduction in thickness. Initial thickness they have mentioned as 8 mm. Final thickness will be 10% less than 8 mm. Final thickness will be 10% less than 8 mm. That is 90% of 8 mm. 90% is nothing but 0.9 times. 0.9 into 8, it becomes 7.2. So delta H is equal to 8 minus 7.2. It is 0.8. Delta H by 2 becomes 0.4. 0.4 upon 205. Right? So alpha will be cos inverse of 205 minus 0.4 upon 205. So it is 3.57 degrees. It is 3.57 degrees. But guys, they have asked the answer in radians. So how do we convert? 180 degree is equal to pi radians. 180 degree is equal to pi radians. So 1 degree is equal to pi by 180. 1 degree is equal to pi by 180. So 3.57 will be pi by 180 into 3.57 into 3.57. So it is, the answer will be 0.062. 0.062. If I ask you what is the arc length of deformation zone? What is the arc length of deformation zone? Out of A, B, C, O, which length will tell us the arc length of deformation zone? The arc length of deformation zone will be AC, right? Right guys? It will be AC, it will be R into alpha. Very good. Arc length of deformation zone is AC, it is equal to R into alpha. It is equal to R into alpha. Now if I ask you, wait, arc length of deformation zone is also equal to length of contact. It is also equal to length of contact. It is also equal to length of contact between the rollers, between the roller and component. Between the roller and, how much length of contact is there between the roller and the component? It is equal to AC. So that is equal to R alpha. Okay. Now if I ask you what is the length of deformation zone? This is arc length of deformation zone. What is length of deformation zone? What is length of deformation zone? Out of, again, OA, AB, AC, BC, OB. What is telling us the length of deformation zone? AB. Very good, Visesh. AB is telling us the length of deformation zone. How do we find the value of AB? How do we find the value of AB? Again, we'll go back to the triangle OAB. We'll go back to the triangle OAB. In triangle OAB, AB is equal to, we'll apply Pythagoras, OA square minus OB square. AB is equal to root over of OA whole square minus OB whole square. OA whole square is nothing but R square. OB is again equal to OC minus BC. It is equal to OC minus BC. So OC is R, BC is delta H by 2 whole square. The other way is this. It is R square minus, we'll expand this thing, R square plus delta H square by 4 minus 2 into delta H by 2 into R. 2 will get cancelled. So it is equal to root over of R square minus R square, both will get cancelled. This R square minus R square, both will get cancelled. So we'll have R delta H minus delta H square by 4. R delta H minus delta H square by 4. Again, this delta H square by 4. In the previous question, you can see the value of delta H is very, very small. See, for the question that is present on the secondary screen, the value of delta H was 0.8. So delta H square will be even smaller and delta H square divided by 4 will be even smaller. Okay. So we can simply ignore that term. We can simply ignore that term. Delta H square by 4 is less than R delta H, hence ignored. So AB is equal to length of deformation zone. AB is equal to length of deformation zone that I am writing as L. AB I am writing as L. It will be equal to R delta H. It will be equal to root over of R delta H. It will be equal to root over of R delta H. Okay. Let's see what is tan of alpha. What is tan of alpha? Tan of alpha is AB upon OA. Tan of alpha is AB upon OB. Sorry. AB is L. It is equal to root over of R delta H. OB is R minus delta H by 2. R minus delta H by 2. Okay. So again, the delta H by 2 term is very, very small. So it is ignored. Delta H by 2 is very small than R, hence ignored. So what we get is tan of alpha is equal to root over of R delta H upon R. So it is root over of delta H by R. It is root over of delta H by R. That is the value of tan alpha. This value of tan alpha will be used later. It will be very, very useful. Okay. So for finding the value of alpha, if you use this expression, that is alpha is equal to tan inverse of delta H by R, you won't get very accurate value of alpha. You won't get very accurate value of alpha. That's why I don't recommend finding the value of alpha by using this expression. Why you are not getting very accurate value of alpha? Because in this, in both numerator and denominator, we have ignored some terms. In denominator we have ignored delta H by 2. In numerator we have ignored delta H square by 4. Therefore, if it is asked in the exam to find the value of alpha, use the cos alpha expression, don't use tan alpha expression. That is my suggestion. Please try this question, the question that is available on the secondary screen. In a rolling process, a sheet of 2 mm thickness is rolled to 20 mm thickness. Roll is of diameter 600 mm and it rotates at 100 rpm. The roll strip contact length is. Please tell me the answer for this question. Let me check. Roll strip contact length means they are talking about R alpha, right? Radius is already known. Radius is 300 into alpha. Okay. Alpha is cos inverse of R minus delta H by 2 upon R. Okay. So it is cos inverse of 300 minus delta H by 2. Delta H is 5. 25 minus 2. 25 minus 20. So it is 2.5 upon 300. How much is this value of alpha? 300 minus 2.5 divided by 300, cos inverse of answer 7.4. Alpha is equal to 7.4 degrees. So here you have to multiply alpha. One thing you have to take care is whenever you are multiplying or dividing an angle with a normal quantity, with a linear quantity, you have to convert the angle into radians. This angle cannot be in degrees. Okay. So wherever you have written this expression R into alpha, make a note of this, that alpha will be in radians. So this will convert into radians. 7.4. So it is 0.129. 0.129. So 300 into 0.129. So it is giving 38.756. Hence, option B, 39 mm is right answer. Yeah. See, Rahul has used directly the expression of L. L is root over of R delta H. He has directly used root over of R delta H. Now guys, L is what? L is length of the deformation zone. Here they are asking the roll strip contact length. Roll strip contact length means they are talking about the arc. Okay. So maybe for this question you got the same value. But it is not necessary that always you will get the same value. Okay. So R alpha is the most appropriate answer if they are asking the roll strip contact length. Roll strip contact length means they are talking about the arc. Okay. So we have to find the length of the arc, that is R into alpha. Okay guys, we'll continue with the next class.